Okay, then you can
Okay,
start.
okay, sorry, got cut off a bit. Because I think the system reset. All right,
Yeah, well,
can you guys hear us? Is it
Yes.
good?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I'm
So I
able.
think in regards to your question, yeah, we will be answering that. Let me just orientate everybody to the meeting, and I just want to give RJ any short words if he wants to say. So on the call today, we have Robert Yon. He's dialing in, and we also have Steiner. Steiner is actually the VP for Solutions. We're very happy to actually have him here to walk us through that. I think you're all familiar with me, Trevor Fong. I'm from Edit. RJ, before we start, anything you wanna highlight before we go in?
well, not too much. I'll keep it short, but this is well, an exciting piece of work where we are talk about this well, in a few moments. So I would be very keen to hear your reaction, and we think it's well, it suits fantastic with the curriculum solution because a lot of the input comes from there. So a nice addition to the work.
Very good. And again, good afternoon to a great afternoon to SUSS. Really appreciative of your time. I believe we have 1 hour on the clock, and we want to make the best use of that. So before I pass the time to Steiner, I just want to quickly just do a quick recap on what we are planning to do this afternoon. Um, we're going to be touching specifically on the second one, which is the student journey planner. But the reason why we have put all these things together is because all of these are connected together, and we will actually showcase the reasons why. We will also go through the critical requirements. I think that's something as part of the reason why Steiner is here. We actually will be showing you, obviously, the functionality of the student journey planner. So that's something that we're really excited and really happy to be able to share. Now, all these are the video links. I'll be sending this to the SUSS team. And why these links are important, because these are the sessions that we have had before. We won't repeat it. So obviously you can use it as reference. We have done an introduction to time edit for 2 rounds. And then the last one we actually did an introduction on a much deeper dive on curriculum management together with the study planner. And I believe Steiner, you were there the last time. Yeah, Steiner, you got something to
Yeah, I
say?
did have the pleasure of being there for the last one, so some of you might recognize me from that one. And I'm excited to show you some updates as well from what we displayed at that point in time. So what we'll show of the course registration system will be a slight evolvement that we've made now in collaboration with some of our clients. So you'll see a bit of a hopefully an upgraded version of what you saw the last time. So should hopefully be good.
Very nice. So there are 5 things that we want to go through today. Specifically, an overview of curriculum and course registration, of course, the study planner. It's just in a macro. We're not going to go into details for curriculum. Second one is curriculum, but really more on the workflow part, which we want to discuss so that you understand how the data will flow. And I think that's very important to understand how the course registration module, which we call student journey planner, works. And then obviously the third one is where we do a demo. Steiner will actually start to show you what the student journey planner. I don't think you've seen our latest iteration of that. That's going to be quite fun and exciting. And of course, how it's connected to the study guide also as well, which has AI features that allow students to actually inquire about the modules that they're choosing. And then the last one I hope that we can touch on is some of the budget considerations. I think one of the questions was basically what is the cost implications. I think we need about maybe 5 to 7 minutes to kind of discuss through that as well. So that's the agenda for today. Very quickly, Time Edit is academic operations platform. I think this is quite familiar to everyone. Besides curriculum management, we also do scheduling, publishing of students and allocation as well as evaluation and reporting. But for the purpose of today's discussion, we'll be focusing on the ones that are highlighted in red. So obviously, curriculum management, we're not actually going to do the demo, but we are going to show how it's connected to the study guide. So what is the study guide? So everyone is clear. When we say study guide, it means basically it's the publication of the curriculum, the student modules and stuff like that. And that's connected to an AI query coach also as well. And when we say course registration, we will use the word student journey planner. So that's the kind of name for the module that we have. So hope that no one's confused. Study guide is the publishing side, the student journey planner, because it's the student planning his journey and selecting his course. That's the module selection. So that's the things that we will be discussing today. Yes, Steiner.
And it's important to know, I think, for the audience here, because there's a lot of questions around controlling the prerequisites, the anti-requisites, and kind of the interaction between curriculum data and the course registration, but also a little bit on the publication side. So just want to lift your attention to the fact that everything is on one platform here. Whilst these are different front-facing applications, they are all based on the same curriculum database. So it's the very same kind of back end to all of it. Means that all of the modules are integrated by design, but as you'll very soon discover as well, quite a lot of the controls of how you publish curriculum data or how you set up rules and conflicts and so on for course registration is carried out in the curriculum system. And that's really important to understand and get straight. So we'll dive into it later on as well, but just wanted to draw your attention to the cohesiveness of the platform at this stage as well, so you understand that kind of concept of a unified database that fires all these different applications.
Yeah, good point, Steiner. And of course, we will be referring to the CRS critical requirements. I think SUSS, you're quite familiar with this. And we're very, very happy actually that you have come up with such a detailed thing, because it really shows that you guys are very clear on what you want. We've been speaking to a lot of universities actually on student journey planning and course registration. And I think SUSS, you guys can be very proud that you guys really know what you want. And that's excellent, because then we can actually explain and walk you through that. So what Steiner is actually mentioning is very important, because we did make some remarks, and when we actually start to discuss a bit more, I think it'll get clearer and clearer about why we are tying that actually to the curriculum management, the study guide, and the student journey planner. As what Steiner has mentioned, all are connected on the same database, same data structure. You don't need to do any integrations. It's all real time. If you make a change in curriculum, it's instantaneously updated on the student journey planner and on the study guide also as well. So that's the beautiful thing. We'll show you that later, so it will make more sense, but we just wanted to underscore that. Feel free to ask us questions also as well. I'm just reminded, just text it in or just raise your hand. We'll be very happy to answer that as we go along. All right, so just to give you a very good high-level understanding of that. And on the workflow side, basically, as you can see, the curriculum management kind of forms the heart and the center of operations, specifically in regards to this particular workflow set, where you're actually getting the course registration from the students, which is what we call the student journey planner. You do the workload planning, and then of course that then is filtered into your timetabling system, and then when you publish and all these kind of things, right? So that's what we wanted to highlight. So we're obviously going to be focusing on the student journey planner today. The other things that we wanted to talk about is how the curriculum platform works. We're not going into a demo, but basically the curriculum module for Time Edit basically designs and maintains, it validates to ensure that the curriculum is implementable. Obviously, you have your budget, your workload, and your timetable validation. And then, of course, you have your approval, where you have your audit trail and your governance builder. Then of specific interest is where you have engagement, because curriculum by itself, you're planning all this, right? But obviously, there is an engagement of all this data with the students, which is your stakeholder. So that's where you have the study guide, where they can actually assess the curriculum. And that's where you have the student journey planner, is that where you can actually assess the course registration also as well. And then, of course, you can improve. Yes, I have a question from Christina. Yeah.
Sorry, because in the interest of time, and we really want to focus on the course registration, if you don't mind. Yeah, because
Sure.
I think we
Understand
do
that.
have another session on the for the demo, so I think maybe we can leave it to that. But I think the team will be more keen to look at the course registration. Yeah, because the
Great.
time is, yeah, we only have like now 15 minutes. Yeah, don't
Great.
mind. Thank you.
So
Yeah.
this is the last slide, and this will just show you the data structure and the data flow. And I'll pass the time to Steiner to continue that. We'll just take a couple of minutes. So here we have the curriculum. It flows into the student journey planner if you see the number 1. So why Steiner mentioned about the student journey planner is all the prerequisites, right? We're talking about prerequisites. That is actually done and set up in the curriculum, and then we extract that, and that's displayed on the student journey planner for the student to actually select. From the curriculum, then of course you can go to the student, you're actually pushing data to the student management system. The student management system is also pushing data into the student journey planner. Number 3 is also important. How do we get the results of the students? That's not planned in student journey planner. That's planned on the student management side, and we get the data from there. So that's a very important point. Otherwise, when you see the demo, you'll be wondering, where are we getting this data? We're getting the data from the student management system. We're getting it from the curriculum. And the last one is actually we're getting it, obviously the student journey planner is also communicating to the timetabling side also as well. After the students select the course, that course information is of course channeled to all the appropriate downstream channels. Steiner, anything else to add? If not, you can continue with your demo.
All right, yeah, I think that's a good kind of introduction to the flow of things, and I'll go through this now in the systems as well. Let me see if I can inherit the screen sharing. Can you guys see my screen at this stage?
Yep, I can. Sounds
Okay,
good.
beautiful.
Good.
Beautiful. I
Yeah,
will
all
allude
good.
to these critical requirements as I go through things as well, and we'll discuss. There's a few of them where we've marked that things are on the roadmap or needs to be supported through third-party integrations, which we'll discuss a little bit more specifically as well. Now, the first bucket, let's call it that, of requirements is around conflict generation management pathways that students have, and what can you do, what can't you do, what do you need to do together, all these different rules that we have on our curriculum. The way this is set up in the system by the sign in the time edit student journey planner or the course registration module is within the curriculum system. So the curriculum system holds this information. If you want to change this, you can change that within the curriculum management system as well, and that will automatically be reflected in the course registration system. Here you see, I'm in right now the Bachelor of Counseling in a specific database right here, and we're looking at the diets or the structures of a study program, what kind of electives you can have, and all of that, how that whole study program is built up, the pathways that you can take. And you can set up so much different kind of details around this. But here you see that we have some incompatible units, prerequisites, could have added co-requisites, anti-requisites. If I wanted to change something like this directly here, and I'm looking into the structures, there's something I want to edit here, I just hit the edit button, and there will be then a workflow that takes me through and understand to edit this data, seek necessary approvals if I don't have the permissions to change this on my side, so on, so forth. So that's kind of how you build the rule set and the pathways that goes into the student journey planner. And then this reads live real time all of that data so that that's valid. We're going to come back to how you make exceptions to these rules and how you can still build kind of individual plans that are outside of this if they're granted permissions to do so. So we're going to come back to that element, but just wanted to introduce you to kind of the grand scheme of things. This is where you set this up, and we will be going through kind of these workflows and the logic of all of this in greater detail next week as we progress through with the curriculum demo on Tuesday, which I'm not sure if all of you are going to be attending that, but I believe that's going to be recorded as well. So we'll dive deeper into kind of the establishment of these programs and these pathways and so on. Now, what then happens is that we take all of this data and we hook on the course registration module, which looks like this. So this is the end user interface that the students access to do the actual course registration. The first time they access the system, they'll be greeted by this, where it tells you, it's a bit of an introduction dialogue that tells the user how to interact with the interface. This is also mobile first, so it's responsive design. It's created so that it works equally well on a mobile platform as well as a desktop. It takes you through the different steps you should be doing, what you should be in, what order you should be looking at it, what information you can see, how you interact with the different information as well. We are happy to also, after this, send you the link to this for you guys to play around with a little bit on your side as well, if you're interested in just seeing this specific setup. And then, you know, you'll see a lot of information. Well, I'll take you through what we're seeing on screen right here now. So in this case, I'm a student that is a student of Bachelor of Business and Administration. That's what I've enrolled to. That's where I belong. And as a result of that, I am prompted to select a flexible study component. Now, I want to select a minor that I want to take. And I see here the different types of minors that I can take. If I click this button right here, group info or module info, minor info, you can get taken into the study guide, which will then show you all of the different, sorry, just a second. I will then show you all of the different minors alongside any information that we've chosen to publish on this and how it's built up, the program structure of it, whatever information we have. So you can also get to interact with the study guide in an integrated fashion from within the course registration portal to make informed decisions. I then make a selection, and as a result of selecting that, I'll be enrolled into some specific modules that are part of that, or courses, depending on the terminology that you use, that are part of that. We've chosen in this specific instance to have not information overflow around different things, but the system is incredibly flexible in what information you can display. So if you have caps, for instance, on the number of seats on each module that you're offering, you can display that type of information. Here we've chosen to keep it clean, just, you know, the less information, the easier it is for the end users to understand. But if it is vital information that, say, we're capping the group sizes or whatever it is, you're free to have multiple fields here to display relevant information that would again come from the curriculum system. Say in the curriculum system, we've marked that there's 50 seats for a particular module, so on and so forth. That will also be shown here. Yeah, as a result of taking this, I'll also be enrolled into some common core things. Maybe that's already decided for these common core things that I can't do anything about. I also need to make some selections here for specialization modules, common cores here. So this is also, by the way, where you'll see clearly, of course, if there's anti-requisite, prerequisites, co-requisites, any rules that we have in the system will obviously also be displayed here on the module as you're attempting to enroll. And we are aware of the student's progression as well via this integration to the student management system. So the fact that, you know, strategic management, I need to have had principles of management first. Now, I am, of course, enrolled in my first years into principles of management, but I haven't passed this yet. Hence, this information is shown. It's shown on the basis of not what you have selected in your study program, but what you have completed. This could also be altered so that you only display these warning messages if you're not in compliance in your study plan as such, but that's how it's set up in this case. I then go ahead and select other things like, say, I need to do an internship, for instance, so on and so forth. There's maybe some finance specialization modules that I need to take as a result of all this. And I've now completed my module setup. I see the number of modules that my study plan consists of, the total credits, my study load that gets stipulated, so on. I can then look at also the timeline right here for how this looks semester by semester, because I have this information in the curriculum system, so I know when things are running. If you have our curriculum system as well, you could view the assessments and even the activity structure of the different modules. So what should I be expecting in semester 1? Well, in this and this module, you'll be facing these and these assignments, these and these exams and projects. All of this is information that comes through from the curriculum system. If you've got rich information there on these types of things, which could then further inform the decisions that the students are making in terms of taking electives and so on and so forth. So they can look at the assessment load alongside when things are happening to make an informed decision about their course selections. Now, I've been blabbering on. Christina, you've been patiently waiting. I'm so sorry to keep you keep you
No,
waiting here as well.
I also wanted to ask whether
Yeah.
you want to keep the questions to the end of the sessions, or as we go along and we have questions, we just raise our hand.
I prefer as we go along. I
Okay,
think
sure.
it gets easier to not lose track of where we are then with things. So especially
Okay.
if it's something that is related to what I'm showing,
To
it's easier to deal
okay.
with on the fly. Yeah.
Yeah. I do have a question
Yes.
here. Is you say with the selection you will achieve 40 credit units, but certain programs or certain students, they might have a cap of
Yeah.
the CU that they can take per
Yes.
semester. Will the
Yeah.
system allow that information to flow from maybe the student management system to say that, this student maximum CUs is 25, 30 based on their student type or their pathway. It could be accelerated pathway, then they have more CUs. If let's
Mm,
say they are on extended pathway, they
mm.
maybe have 20 CUs. It's like the minimum and the maximum kind of thing. Yeah.
Indeed. And as you see right here as well,
Mm,
in this case, we've set up a minimum and a maximum,
mm,
and we're just allowing for 120 here. So it's very rigid in many ways.
mm,
That's what you're supposed to submit. But if you had a different structure, you could have had different minimums and maximums, and that could be
mm,
something that's on the individual student object or inherited from what program they are enrolled in. Whether that information then comes from the student management system or whether it comes from the curriculum system,
mm.
we're equally happy either way, actually, with that.
Okay.
Both works for us in terms of the integration setup.
Okay.
So that's fine. And in terms of then, let's say, because that prompts a different question if I'm taking it a little bit further. What if I want to do something outside of what I'm
Mm,
actually permitted to?
mm,
Then you have two options in the system. Either you can allow for them to exceed this, and then it comes a warning saying, hey, you have broken the rule, and then you need to seek approval for
mm,
selections. And then that gets sent onwards to a student administrator to then look into their individual case. What's their track record? Can they do a higher study load? Can they not? Do a bit of an individual assessment on that, which, by the way, happens here in, let me show you a slide on this. So essentially, when you have students submitting their proposed student plan, it'll end up in this back office interface right here where I have all of the students that I'm responsible for. And I can then take a look at their grade, what progress they've made, where they are. And then we can have a bit of an indicator, color indicator. Is this a green flag or is it an orange flag or is it a red flag? Do I disapprove or reject Jordan Wood's 150% student load plan here with this average grade and so on? You make these different judgments, and you can either approve or decline the requests that are outside of the normal boundaries that we've set up for that student group or that study program or whatever it may be. Then you can have automatic approval as well with if they're just within the boundaries that we've set up for them. Very
Okay.
good question. Yeah, I hope that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For this one is all the front end. I think there's students facing and whatnot, right? Will you be also showcasing the back end of how things are being created for admin? Because I think there's a lot of administrator here. They would like to know as well how would the back end be able to support their work.
Yeah. So I have we're undertaking a little bit of development right here. So it'll be something. I'll show you something that's
Yeah,
extremely
sure,
similar.
sure.
So I will
Sure,
be
sure.
showing you something
Thank
on
you so
this.
much.
But
Very good clarification there. Thank you.
yeah, nice. Good. I'll just go through quickly the final pieces on the student side here. You can also see indicators of your study load and so on. And we're taking a look at the timeline and assessment pieces. There's one really important thing that I want to flag here as well in terms of guiding the students to make decisions. Because what we also offer within our integrated study guide when you're looking into these different options is our study coach, which is an AI-driven thing that sits on top of the curriculum database that gives you advice on what to take and what to not take, given what your goals are and what you're interested in doing. So it's quite context aware in that respect. So for instance, I could ask the study coach, I'm taking a Bachelor of Science in Food Science. I'm interested in learning more about health risks with food. What courses should I take, for instance? And then the study coach will look into previous studies have you completed. I'm in first year of food science, and I'm keen on working in the food authorities for risk assessments, etc. Let's see what it says. I'm literally just trying this now. I hear it proposes a specific course, for instance, within my specialization, gives me some outlines and so on. So the idea that I'm trying to get across here is that we try and take it quite far in terms of helping the individual students make informed decisions within an integrated user interface based on all the rich data that we possess as a result of both owning the course registration system and owning the curriculum system. And my point is, and our point is, by the design of all this, is that we believe strongly in the joint value of owning all that data. So that's that part. When it comes to the admin side of things, as I said, it looks similar to this. I'll show you a more mature interface on this real quick here as well. But I then need to quickly change into a database here on the side. Just give me a brief moment to do this.
Steiner, you
Yeah.
also might want to show them that you can actually save the study plan as well. You
Yes.
can save it in different drafts. That's quite an important function.
Yeah, absolutely. Save study plan, and you can then have that as a draft plan. Draft one, think this looks good, and then you can then look into various options that you might have to assess and look into those. So I can create now a new plan, or I can view and edit this specific plan, or I can choose to enroll in this plan specifically as I've saved it here as well, which then prompts obviously an integration to the student information system to actually perform the integration side of it.
Yeah, and
Sorry, the actual enrollment.
there's a question on the side as well. I see that a wide selection of minors are displayed in SJP. Does this mean that the student has not declared into this minor?
Come again with that question. Let's see. A wide selection of minors are displayed. Yes. Yeah. Exactly right. Exactly right. There, something. It is the student in this case has not enrolled into this minor already, so they're making a selection of a minor, and then these are the results that you can have. Say here that the flexible study component. These are the different minors, and then these are the packages that follow these minors. That's obviously a result of the structure that we have right here in this database. if you have more of a situation wherein the minors are already pre-selected in the student management system, and it's just about taking electives and choosing these different things as well, that could also be preloaded on the student profile if those selections are made elsewhere. But our system is capable of catering for these type of selections as well, and showing these different packages that we've set up for minors, majors, and different things. Yeah, so study paths is a really good question here. So I showed you briefly here how this looks like, what a study program comprise of in terms of the different modules. Now, setting up the different pathways within here, you can do by selecting these different packages of modules in let me just take this like a little bit down here so you see this. So these are the 3 years that we have in this specific study program. And if we wanted to build like a pathway for a minor, pathways that have different electives and different mandatories and whatnot, we can go ahead and create these by manually selecting, they should take all of these first ones. They should take these and these and these if they want to do this and that qualification. So you kind of pick and choose a little bit what should be part of a specific pathway. And then a study program can have many different pathways that we allow and present to the students when they're making these selections. So proceeding to actually setting up the student journey planner, you first set up the structure of the program, every module, every thinkable course it comprises. Then you create the different pathways in the planner. As you can see right here, this could have been called pathway creation as well, where you then go ahead and create and kind of pick whatever courses a pathway consists of. So that's data that then flows through to the student journey planner or the course registration system as selectable options, if you will.
Question
yeah.
I have, does it allow users to change the pathway and then you say the period and the phase, does it refer to the semester, or not very sure about the period and the phase? What does it mean?
Yeah, so period here when you're then selecting it, now it's just being
The
offered here.
semester.
But let's say that you have the situation where this psychology of personality development was offered first year, both in term A and term B. Let's say you wanted to build a pathway that forced people on a certain pathway to take the one in B because they would have to take some other courses in term A. Yeah. Here, in this case, it's not the best example because they're just offered on one semester. But if you had multiple, we call it offerings, then you could build kind of rules to at what points in time they need to take the different courses as such. Phase, in this case, is when you have a, this is a little bit complicated, but in some regions that we have this system in, you have sub qualifications that you can achieve. So let's say you exit the degree after 2 years, you still have a diploma of something. So you then define that this is in the first phase, this is in the second phase. So it's tied to sub qualifications of the main pathway that reaches the qualification. A little bit complicated right here.
Okay.
But this is not in action in all of our implementations, but in this particular instance it is. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. But you can change it as an administrator at any point in time, as long as you have the permissions. So if you wanted to alter pathways, you can do that on the fly, and immediately that will then be reflected in the student journey planner because it reads the live data.
Okay, so for instance, phase is not applicable to us. Can we change it, or we can? Yeah.
This is the thing about the system that is sometimes a little bit hard to convey, but the fact that we can add and change terminology fields in the curriculum system means that we'll always be able to give you exactly the information that you want in the system. So whatever fields you want to have here, if you want to have other fields, want to call them something different, we can always change all of that. And that was my point as well around like what information are you showing right here. Here we're just showing kind of the grouping information plus the title plus any rules. But if you wanted to add more information or less information, our data model is so flexible that it's very easy to add or remove elements of any page you see, or change the terminology as well. Good. So to give you an idea of what the back end looks like, let me just get this this up right here. So it looks very similar. You remember me showing you this, right? Where you saw the progress bar of the students, the average grades of them, what programs they're enrolled in, what courses they're enrolled in. Now, this in particular is actually the back office for students registering for classes, but it's exactly analogous to that, where you're able to go into the information on an individual student, see all of the things that they have enrolled in, and make changes to that from here. Now, if you wanted to submit kind of reports and stuff like that on the students deviating from a pathway or whatever it is, and add documentation to that as well, there is a possibility. I haven't enabled that on this instance, but there is a possibility to then click a link to then get taken into a workflow wherein you'll be able to submit documentation surrounding a particular person. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. I'm not sure what I have. Let's say, yeah, this person right here. So if I wanted, because I know there was some criteria, so requirements around being able to upload specific files and justifications and whatnot against individuals. And this is where you would do this. You see that you would be taken directly from the back office here, where you're seeing the individual students and their choices, to an upload page, which will then store documents against their profile, or it would store it against a study program, or whatever structure that you think it makes the most sense for you if you wanted to kind of keep documentation on people and allowing for deviation of a pathway or whatever items might be relevant to submit documentation on. Good. Then this is obviously then also a part that's fully integrated with the curriculum system. And this is yet again showing the extremely cohesive nature of it, because everything's in one database, so we can leverage different parts of it. May look a little bit like many different screens when you look at it right now, but when we set it up in your environment in a cohesive way, it's going to have natural workflows that's fully integrated with clicks and links within the different applications to take you seamlessly through the different interfaces in a meaningful and easy way. And we've been setting this up now. We've recently we're in an implementation phase soon with a Malaysian client around this. We've got several institutions in both ANZ, as in Australia, and Europe, using this as well. And we're always kind of developing very closely with individual institutions on this, because there are quite a few individual differences on how they want the user interface to work for both the admins and the students. So we're trying to be quite accommodating in that respect in the implementation approach for these things. One thing that I would like to lift your attention to in terms of the requirements were the two that we said
Steiner, hold on. hold on a second. I think there's a good question is coming in from
Let's see.
Xu Qian. Yeah. Regarding the major program being mapped to one minor and two minors, for example. Yeah.
Yeah. Assuming then there's a new program, it is mappable to a list of minors. Yeah. I will. Can we get back to you with a video on that? Because I think in lack of time here, I think I don't have a good example configured right now on this, but I can guarantee you that we can absolutely comply with the business logic that you have outlined. So maybe the best thing is for us to send you a quick video on this after this, where we have configured an example that's more along this lines, so you can see that. Totally get that. That's really important. Great. Can you make a note of that as well, there, Trev? That would be nice.
Yeah, sounds good. Do you want to just kind of briefly describe what you would do on a system without, or you want to set it up and then send them a video link?
Yeah. So essentially, there is a well, I guess what you're saying here is that you have a new study program that has a few minors, and you want to generate well, how the pathways will look as a result of the minors that we have in place, given this new study program coming on board. So what are the allowed permutations, if you will, based on the minors that you have here? Essentially, what we would know already, and this is how this works. I can talk to at least how this would work without necessarily having the best example configured. As you can see right here, you have this, what we call a module group. A module group is often used to define what a major comprises. Yeah. So here it's a group of modules right here following this minor. In each and every structure, you will also have other groups. So you have in a study program, maybe there's other core elements or other major elements that you might have as a result of it. So you have different groups of courses that need to be taken. And then you have this minor or these minors that also have these groups of modules that could be taken, right? And that's kind of the basis of all of this, that data being there. So you map that minor to this new study program or these minors. So you have many minors coming in. And as a result of that, you will then see in the plan board, what are ways we could do this in a meaningful way. I see that, you know, if we have this minor here, we in this offering, in this term, and so on, we can't allow for these combinations because there's too many credits being taken in one semester. So then we need to make these and these permutations instead. And all of that is something we can build rule sets for. So you can say, like, for each term, there should also only be 15 credits taken or 30 credits taken or whatever metric there is. So all these puzzle pieces come together, right? You have the study program, whatever components you have of that. Then you have the mapped minors, and then you have the rules for the study load and the kind of the prerequisites, anti-requisites. Based on all of that, it's a quite straightforward task for the IT system to then generate, what should we say, a permissible pathway based on what should be allowed to take per semester that meets the prerequisites, the anti-requisites, the co-requisites, and so on and so forth. So that's what goes into that calculation, really, of the permutations and the pathway creation. And then the permissible pathways will be transferred to the course registration system. Hope that clarifies a little bit the logic. A little bit difficult without a good example to show you a really good way to do this, but it depends on these rules that I've outlined. Really good question as well. And I get that the pathway logic is a very quintessential part for you, obviously, in setting this up. So we are extremely mindful of that. Yeah. Wanted to quickly lift your attention to the things we said that are on the roadmap or that we cannot support in application, which were two. One was waitlisting. So when you have a cap for how many students should be registered on a course, and you want to enable a wait list. This is not something we have in the system today, but that we're expecting to add June the latest. Right now looking like, yeah, somewhere between March to June next year. So just so you are aware. And then it was the tuition information. Again, being in a situation where we're able to display whatever information we want, given the flexibility of the interface, we can always display costs. If you have costs per module, or if you have a total cost here, we can display all that, but we cannot verify transaction rules or make any payments or kind of check for compliance directly within the application. It's not built for these type of tuition transactions. So that information should be integrated by a third party. And when they are, we can display that information because we can read data from other sources and display it. But we can't kind of build the logic around the tuition transactions, whether there's compliance there and so on. So that's one element where we're not directly complying to the requirements per se.
Sorry, Steiner, can I just check whether the system allows we're not asking you to store the whole entire fees data, but the information that the student has made the payment, would that be possible to keep?
As long as that information coming from a different source, we can absolutely display that. So
Okay.
let's say on this, it could have like a box here that says your tuition fees are paid, and we just get a confirmation via the student management system or a third-party application to reflect that. And as long as we get that information, definitely we can display it.
Okay, thank you.
Steiner, there's one more question, but I think just want to stop at the SUSS that part about the finance part. Is there any other questions from SUSS on what Steiner has mentioned regarding the requirements on the reading the finance?
There's a good question now in the chat around how you identify an overlapping course between, let's say, a major and a specialization.
Okay, go ahead.
I think I don't have maybe again a very good example here of it, but it would go something like this, where you would have a box here that would say exceeds credit the limit that you can take per semester or something like that. Not possible to combine with this specialization and so on. It will display that conflict information in a similar fashion to the co-requisite prerequisite situation. So that's how the students will know that once they've made a selection of a specialization that then collides with this, they can't. Or they can if they then choose to submit for approval, if you allow them to do things like that and seek special approval for it. It will also become more apparent in this timeline view with these things as well. So you can kind of see a little bit the number of credits and whatnot, if that's the reason, or if it's got an overlapping timetable, or what other reasons why it might be in conflict. You will also be able to see that directly here. Yeah. So that's how that will be made clear to the end user. Great.
All right, good, Steiner. You want to go back to the critical requirements? Any other things that we need to highlight to SUSS in regards to our remarks? Or on SUSS side, is there any other things that you feel that you will need a bit more details on? And then we'll be happy to discuss that or show that.
I'm pleased as well. This is obviously not the final time you get to ask us questions. If you go away and think about, what about this? Can you confirm this? How would this work? We're going to try and be very responsive on those questions that you might have on email, and craft videos for you where that is applicable as well.
This Chiwei, yeah, I have a question. I do see that time edit system is able to do quite a fair bit on the rules configuration, right? But what if, let's say, we decided to purchase another rules engine, for example, would it be possible to do the integration of with another third-party rules engine?
The way that this would work in that case is that because the entire, let's call it interface, relies on the curriculum database, this would have to be integrated into the curriculum database. So the back office for setting up the rules, as we've seen, is the curriculum system. So you're doing that in an integrated way while you're maintaining your curricula, when you're creating your curricula. Theoretically speaking, what you could do is then to integrate all of that from a different rules engine or a curriculum system to take that into this curriculum system. You'll still be using this curriculum system, though, to refine these rules and have that as an authoritative source to the student journey planner, or alternatively as another rules engine that will integrate into this. And this is the rules interface here, and then that will be taken onwards to the student journey planner or the course registration system. Theoretically, that works. I will definitely recommend, obviously, the cohesiveness, because I think that that gives you a lot of scale advantages with the processes. But theoretically speaking, it is possible, yes.
Okay,
Okay.
I have a question. So you talk about rules engines coming from CMS, Curriculum Management System, which is great. We do have certain basic rules which is already set in there, but
Yeah.
there are rules that is pertaining to the students. That
Yeah.
certain students might have some constraints that they cannot take, or the major and the minor cannot have overlap of or not overlap, or certain courses cannot be taken even though they are not overlap but cannot be taken in the same semester, or they cannot be taken together. Okay,
Yeah.
that I think is some of the constraint that we need to acknowledge. That's the reason why we might be able to uh, and we might be getting another system just to do all this. But of course, if let's say CIS can do all this, that will also be something that we will consider. But I think maybe we have to send you some rules, some of the rules that we have for you to consider how that can be done. This is something that I think maybe the team, we will come back to you. I think we don't have much time to go through every single one of them. Yeah.
But we're happy to send you a compliance list on whether these rules can be configured. And in some cases, when we set this up, there are, let's say, constraints that are very student focused that come typically from the student management system as well. And those are more typically along the lines on how many credits that student can take and so on. And that's very easy to import. What is more difficult to import, because it relies on the deep curriculum data, is these co-requisites, anti-requisites, this pathway logic, because it is so complicated that the data structures needs to be exactly right. And this is why I think there's a little bit of a risk using another rules engine as well. Then we have to be extremely mindful that this needs to map in a meaningful way with our rules engine. So either way, we need to know that the rules engine that we have can comply with the rules that you have, which I feel very confident that we can, because we have all kinds of craziness, I can tell you, with some of the older clients that we have. So I I think we're good, but good to verify that as well.
Okay. Okay. I think my colleague has a question on the chat.
Let's see here. So overlapping course and major, head of program has in mind that the overlapped course should be taken to fulfill major requirements, and specialization has in mind an alternative course to take in replacement. How does the user facilitate this setup in the system? You mean when you have some replacement rules for the different courses to have the same end effect? If that's the case, then we build so-called replacement rules in the system. So this course meets the same learning outcomes as this one. And so we treat them, even if let's say the specialization has one course in mind for that learning outcome, the major has another one in mind for that. Automatically, because we have this replacement rule, you know that you have fulfilled that those study credits in that learning outcomes or those learning outcomes across those two. So that's dealt with through replacement rules that we've set up, and I think this one at least has some replacement rules. I believe if I go to the program structure and select one of these babies, let's see. Incompatible units to equivalent units. Yeah. So here's where you then nominate what are equivalent units that are so-called replacement for that. And let's, as you describe, if there's two separate courses, then we treat them as one, and you can whatever's then the ruling one will replace the other, so you automatically comply with whatever specialization and major choice that you've made. I hope that clarifies. Good. Trevor, did you want to quickly talk on the cost side of things before we end this, or?
I don't know. We can actually do it two ways. If they have any more questions, they can, because we can just submit it, via email also as well. Christina, what do you prefer? We could just send you the rates.
Yongtang, do you have a question?
Can I suggest that CE team to prepare some common scenarios of their daily jobs, and then the time edit to prepare for the resolution to demo? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Happy with that.
Okay. I think the other parts you can send via email. I think that's fine. Yeah.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah.
No problem. Any other questions from the team since we have Steiner on the line? So I think there are a few follow-ups. I think, Steiner, we need to reply them with the Loom video on one of the questions that you raised up. And then SUSS, you need to come back with us on some of the other requirements that you wanted us to check also as well. Yeah.
Maybe if you're doing that, we can do things a little bit more collectively, so we can provide a cohesive response to everything, including that that video there as well. We'll at least be very prompt in responding to whatever queries you have.
Okay. Any more questions? Yeah.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes,
yes. If let's say Time Edit has more Loom videos other than the one that is answering Ting's question, then you can just feel free to send over. Then we'll take a look, and if there's any more further follow-up question that we want to ask, then we can actually continue this discussion via email. Is that okay? You don't have to be just that
that's
one.
fine.
As long as you're based on our critical requirements and you're think that there are actually videos that can explain or bring across what we are trying to request, then please go ahead. We are okay with that. We're open to that.
Okay, that's no problem. But I think I just want to highlight, I think that's why Steiner went through the critical requirements. We focus on the ones that we felt there was a bit concern, and that's why he spent a bit more time to explain. All the rest that we didn't spend time on is like, I don't see we having any issues. That's why we didn't. And then obviously he demonstrated that when he went through the student journey planner. Yeah.
Yes, that's good. As in, like, thank you for that. The demo actually is quite informative. But because I understand that, sorry, we have to say that because not just like these are the requirements, but we also have to do quite a bit. That's why we were hoping that if let's say there's videos for us to see due to the short time, then yes, we are more than happy to look through the videos.
Okay, Ken. I'll discuss with Steiner on how we can prepare that. Sounds good. Yep.
Yes, thank you. Just now, I think Steiner was mentioning something about there's a rule engine in place by Time Edit, is it as well?
Yeah, so in the curriculum system, there is a complete rule engine to generate kind of whatever pathway rules that we have. And it is a very comprehensive set of rules that we can create and expand on within the curriculum system that then fires this information through to the course registration system. So that is included in the curriculum system.
Okay, understand. Thank you for clarifying.
No worries. Good question. And good questions from people in general. Thank you so much for that.
Okay. Standard before this Shiwei, before we end the call, right? Just now
Yep.
you mentioned that there's this rules engine in the curriculum management system, but I believe it's not as per quarter, right? Because we just closed the CMS tender. Am I correct that it's not included as what is being quoted, right?
It is
It's not
actually
right
by
because it's a
default
separate
included
entity,
in
right?
it's
Oh, it's
included in the
default.
base.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, it's included in the base package of the curriculum system. That is a fundamental piece to being able to create program structures and so on. So the rules engine is absolutely included in the costs of what we submitted in the curriculum tender.
I see. Okay. Okay, that's great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, great.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah.
you so
Okay.
much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Nice
you.
hanging out with
Bye.
you. Have a nice
Bye.
Thank you.
afternoon.
All right, cheers. Bye.